Oh, boys! It's been a little minute, I apologize. Things have been busy on my end with work and whatnot, and I'll be honest, I was throwing all my toys out of my cot from the first session of 2.6 PTR that they put out. So I'm sorry if you saw my embarrassing video on that, I was a bit stroppy. But we finally have it here. We have the notes released a few days ago, I know, but I wanted to get out a video of my thoughts just for you guys because it's short but sweet, and it has a couple of things that have got me bricked up and sweating already, boys. So let's get cracking straight on through. So patch 2.6, yeah, so obviously this is changes that are going to be leading into latter season 3. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance, or maybe most of you did, to hop on the PTR, but there's been some changes since the PTR, the rune words that they put out. Unfortunately, there's not enough time to chuck in a second iteration of a test realm to test out these changes prior to ladder 3 season. So we're just going to have to roll with this, and it's going to be a fun little start come February 17th, 16th? But that's when it's going to be kicking off, right? Europe at 17th there, 16th, so I think that's going to be about 17th for me. I don't know, I'm in New Zealand time, whatever that is, right? But who cares, boys? Changes, okay? Hustle. First one that we see here. Good little changes on the base. I thought they might do something different, maybe add like Vigor Aura. That'd be nice, right? Give an alternative to the bow, which is Harmony, because a bow does take up 2 slots on Switch, although it is really nice for, you know, boazons and things like that. Not the best thing to have on Switch for other classes, but this is really nice to not only compete with Treachery, but for that mid to late game. With the +6 to evade is quite crazy as well. I don't do PvP, but that could be something fun to kind of toss in between, right? Like, do I want the maneuverability of having fucking teleport, or do I want that minimum 40% evade? It's kind of wild. 40% increased attack speed, 65 faster run walk is, that's athlete level, if you ask me. 10 all res, I was surprised that it's a static roll of 10 all res every time, which is kind of crazy. I thought they would at least have a bit of a roll there with that one, or maybe even with the evade, like from 3 to 6, or maybe 5 to 10 all res or something, you know. But we're kind of lucky with that one, boys. I think that's really good for the price, really good for the price. But let's move on down. So Bulwark was the one helm which was kind of unanimous across the board. It was quite good. I would have liked to seen a slightly higher range for the life stolen per hit. 4 to 6 is okay. It would have been nice if we could have 4 to 7, or even 5 to 7 would be ideal, but I still think this is a really nice helm where it sits for mid-game. Mercenaries as well. Even if you want, boys, chuck it in a bloody barb helm, you know, or a pal. It's looking quite cute. Now we shaking it up a wee bit. They've taken some advice, one from, I believe, Mr. Llama. I'm not sure if someone else mentioned it, but he mentioned Cleansing Aura kind of fits on theme with the rune word Cure. Level 1 Cleansing, that's kind of fun to mess around with, boys. Obviously great for Energy Shield Sorceress to help mitigate and control that poison damage, but not only that, you can chuck it on a Prayer Mercenary in Act 2 and kind of double dip, get the synergies for Cleansing Aura, give them an insight for meditation, and then you're getting over, I don't even know what it is, boys, but well over 40 health per second on the higher end, right? But that's good fun to test with, level 1 cleansing. Yeah. We've got 2 of the helms which are the same, one being the lightning and then fire, which I think is valid because, let's be honest, you know, lightning and fire is the most, sorry, fire's further down here, as you can see. Fire absorb, lightning absorb, they're the most common and the most abundant and dangerous outputs of elemental damage types across Hell, particularly. So I think they're fine. I think for the price of Shale IORL, I really like this helm as a starter for kind of everybody to open up early trav runs in that kind of mid to trying to branch that late game, you know, fill in some of those item gaps. But this one is quite interesting. Obviously, it doesn't stand out too much in terms of specs for a helm, but this is so good to give us another cannot be frozen option, because everybody is rushing that, oh my god, that that competitive hole to try and slip in and get a Ravenfrost before all your boys do, you know? The prices on finding an early Ravenfrost is always significantly higher, and they drop off quite quickly. So this gives everyone access to this if they need it for certain farming areas. It is bloody brilliant, boys. Of course, it's only going to be temporary until we get a Ravenfrost. It's going to fit better, but My god, it's so handy having more cannot be frozen sources, because there is not many out there, boys. Down to hustle, right? So here we can see the clear changes that they had on each of these. 50 fast run walk up to 65, quite nice. Quite a big chunk. 20 IS up to 40, which is good. I kind of expected that. The all-res, I'm surprised again, as I said, that it doesn't roll between, but 6 evade is very interesting, and I believe your plus to all skills are going to bump this up even further, so it's going to be minimum 40% chance to evade. So that's going to hit prior, and then if you're running an Immortal Energy Shield Sorceress, then on top of that, you've got Energy Shield, Mana, fucking damage reduced, magic damage reduced, and then if you have a mercenary with the cure helm and you're double dipping on prayer, then you're getting health back per second. You're not going to die, boys. That's a meme build. That's a meme build there for anyone who wants to make a video, right? I'm chucking it out for the boys. Now, for the hustle weapon, quite interesting. 5% chance to cast level 1, down from 9 burst of speed on striking, and they also added a level 1 fanaticism. I was scratching my head a little bit when I first saw this. It makes me feel like they're trying their best to keep both parties happy, but mainly to reduce it as a kind of crux for pre-buffing, because that is a bit of a pain. Now, they said that they wanted to make it more of a main hand attack support, whether it's an offhand or whatever. I think they've gone closer to the right route. It's quite interesting having this level 1 with the level 1 fanaticism. I thought they would either go one or the other. I didn't expect both. So this is kind of fun to check with. Yeah, see how that goes mid-day. I really don't know. I'll have to see how good this is going to be in that kind of mid-game tier. Obviously, it doesn't compete against things like death and grief, no way. But it's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. But level 1 fanaticism is nice for the party. I believe it gives you yourself 50% enhanced damage. It gives like 30 or 40 attack rating bonus and something decent, so it does add up. It's kind of nice. The other stats on there are a little underwhelming, but I'm glad that they bumped up the ED a bit there too, boys. So I don't know, thumbs up, I guess. Mosaic. Now, I'm suspecting this is one reason why I'm suspecting that assassins are going to be quite popular after everyone bins their first cold sock in first or second week, right? So, chance for finishing moves to not consume charges has been up to 50. So, we can dual wield both of these and we're not going to consume charges, which is awesome. On top of that, when a finisher is executed this way, it now refreshes the expiration timer of the stack, meaning we can maintain uptime of all of these buffs, so you can hit 1 or 2, you can maintain whichever buff you would like to for your spec or your build, and then continual output, consistent output of whatever your spender is going to be to execute all of those. Your charges are going to stay. Very, very cool. I'm not sure if my computer will be able to handle that amount of like attack speed output of all the shit flying across the screen, but we'll brick our PC if we have to for views and clout, boys. Okay. Now they've added lifesteal, which is a good bonus, taken off the cold damage, thank God, and added a range of 8 to 15 for 3 skill damage %, which is quite cool. Quite cool. Prevent monster heal was already there, which is already a nice bonus. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about Metamorphosis. They did change the Crushing Blow to be a static roll on the base helm itself, which is nice, I guess. But, I mean, it kind of reduces the crux of having it as a pre-buff. I don't know. I thought they would do more, because in aspect of this, it did function quite clunky. But, I don't know. We'll have to see it, boys, but I'm not really excited. I'm still a little bit meh about Metamorphosis. I mean, it's not really what I'm most excited about anyway. Obviously, touching on other non-letter stuff, right? So rune words and that we can now have access to in non-letter. Sunder charms. We've got also terror zones they've touched on, so we can have access on non-letter. So all you boys who are complaining about that, it's over there. And then for me and other idiots who are complaining about Act 3 down here, they got rid of Kuras Sewers. Let's go. They got rid of Kuras Sewers, boys, which is awesome. They've added Great Marsh, so you know, that could be fun. We get wisps and souls there every now and again. So, you know. But still, a lot better than Kuras Sewers. Anything is better than Kuras Sewers, let's be honest. They've added some extra areas that are kind of terrorized in conjunction with others, which is nice. So, that kind of keeps us in the game for longer when we're doing runs, and I like the idea as well. So Ariat Plateau with the Pit of Acheron as well, those red portals that nobody really clears because they're way too quick. It's now an extra add-on to Ariat Plateau and other areas when we kind of clear them when they're terrorized, right? Now, down here we've got some other little, you know, bug fixes and updates and whatnot, and I'll be honest, this is what I was most excited about. This is why I wanted to wait for these patch notes, boys, because maybe a little tweak here or a little change here can have massive implications elsewhere, or maybe big implications for an off-meta build or something weird that I like to do, you know? So let's kind of go through these. We had an issue with flickering flame, resist fire aura for overwriting and whatnot, so that's fine. Assassins, we've got the assassin trap skills now benefit from -% to enemy resistance. I think this is one of the biggest changes in this patch by far. Fuck the rune words. This is massive. So many people have wanted this for so long. They made it available for Sunder Charms, so I had a feeling they were getting close to making this change, and it finally happened, right? So now your traps are going to benefit from having griffins on. Facets. You can get a J mod. You can keep the J mod from your Amazon if you got one. Chuck it on the assassin. Crescent Moon on the assassin. You can go hybrid. You can be kicking on switch with a Crescent Moon, still buffing up the minus res on your traps, right? And then you'll be kicking for that static charge proc. There's so many things I'm thinking of. It's really cool. It opens up that competitive end game for traps, and I felt like they were, you know, getting left behind in the past couple of patches. It's really nice to see. I think we're going to see a couple more hybrids at the higher end on P8, which are going to be quite good for assassins. I'm expecting the Light Sentry to have a bit of a comeback, the classic Lightning Sentry assassin, and maybe a higher player count fire traps in. Maybe. We'll have to see. Very, very cool to see though. They finally fixed the strafe bug. Shout out to Boa for doing some work on that over the prior months with his thorough testing. That sort of stuff, really obscure that people kind of miss, but it's still really good. You know, for us nerds who enjoy the nerdy stuff, we like it to be nice and clean, nice and tidy. So it's really good that things like that are kind of, you know, tucked down nice and tight. Down to Sorceress. Cold Mastery is now applied at 1/5 effectiveness after immunity is broken. I'm not surprised that they made a change like this, and let's be honest, it's not really going to change anything. Sorceress is still so easy to get into. The ceiling is so low to get decent enough gear to fit as much Magic Find as possible while still having enough clear speed and just not only clear speed, but speed in general, right? To teleport and with FCR and everything. So I don't really see that this is going to reduce the amount of people starting with Blizzsorks and things. It might open up some more hybrid options, such as Frozen Orb, maybe Hydras and whatnot. But I would like to see them change Cold Mastery entirely, flip it on its head to plus cold skill damage instead of minus res. Keep it the same as the other two, Lightning Mastery and Fire Mastery. That's what I really want to see. I've seen some other people say similar things. I think I heard Cooley say the same type of thing. I think that would make it a lot easier, because for them making changes like this, and they had altered the skill in the past, boys, because of Sunders. So I think if they tweak it the other way round, it's going to solve all of this bullshit. But leave a comment down below what you guys think. I'd like to see it plus cold skill damage on the Mastery instead. Now, here's where I kind of lost my shit. I was at work at like 6 in the morning, boys. I was waiting to do some work. I was so busy. And I'm like, you know, I'll take a quick peek at the, whip up my phone, have a quick peek at the patch notes. I was not expecting this. I'm blown away. Fixed an issue where Fire Mastery's bonus to fire skill damage didn't apply to the additional fire damage granted by enchant on ranged weapons. Now, what do I kind of mean by that? Alright, so let's hop in game for a second. Chuck the sound on. As you boys know, if you've been following me for a bit, Enchantress anything that's my baby. That's my thing, right? It's my favorite build. It's what got me into making this YouTube channel to start with. I've got so many videos. Maybe I'll chuck some thumbnails on screen if I can be bothered. But This is definitely what I'm going to be starting next season, at least for a strong period. And what they've done is they've fixed a bug. Now, the bug being, when you enchant, right, we're giving yourself fire damage. With ranged attacks, it doesn't give the full amount. I wasn't actually aware that this was a bug, per se. I knew that the sheet damage of it, if I actually enchant myself here, it shows 12k, but it doesn't actually do 12k damage. It does about maybe a third, or maybe a half, or 40% of whatever that may be. I thought the bug was just the sheet DPS that was wrong. I thought it was genuinely intended for the range damage to have a lower application of enchant, and that being fire mastery buffing up the enchant, right? But I didn't know that that was a proper bug, boys, but they have fucking fixed it, whatever that means. So we're gonna have a significantly stronger enchant sorceress on all my builds. I'm a little lost for words. I went such a roller coaster, boys, of just wetting the bed because of a horrible PTR, right? And I just didn't expect this. The devs have buffed my favorite build up to a player's 8 highest fire damage output build in the fucking game, if I'm looking at it right. Because at the moment, on players 1, this thing is pretty good, right? If I switch, I can get slightly higher. Yeah, slightly higher. Nice. But my god, so it's only doing like a third of the current sheet DPS. This is going to be even more now. It's actually going to be 16k. You can buff it up higher. I haven't swapped out all my pre-buff gear. This is my current seasonal character. Holy shit, boys. This is going to be fucking crazy. I need to go through, maybe I need to go through and do another Bulwark week, boys, and go through all my builds again. This is only P1, and this is not even the current patch changes yet. So imagine they doubled the damage output as they're going to do. We're going to be clearing P8 like it's bloody nothing, mate. This is insane. I'm sorry I can't test it. I really am. I'd like to show you, but my god. My favorite build. They've buffed my favorite build. What do I say, boys? What do I say? I'm going to leave it there, because I can keep rambling on this Enchantress shit for a while. You know me. I'm going to make out some other videos and things as soon as I can to try and test this more thoroughly. And my god, if there's something else that you guys would like me to test, that you'd like me to see, maybe there's some of my other shitty builds that you think might be slightly better or fun for me to cover again with some, taking into regard some of these changes, let me know. But I'll see you guys soon with my Enchantress kicking off Season 3. See you, boys.